Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it is me, Zach, and I am back again to have a conversation about all of the alleged tea that Destiny is spilling about her time with Amberlynn and the things that were shown in videos on Amberlynn Reed's channel and some things that were not shown in videos on Amberlynn Reed's channel. So if you're not familiar, Destiny is like 2 ex-girlfriends ago in Amberlynn Reed's world, so she's currently with Wifey. Before Wifey, it was Becky, and before Becky, it was Destiny. A lot of people talk about the Destiny era of Amberlynn Reed's channel and how much they loved it. And Destiny has recently come back to the internet and decided that she is going to use her YouTube channel, which I will leave linked down below. I know some people have trouble finding it because it's not under her name Destiny. It used to be under her name Destiny. I think at one point the channel was called Dana and Destiny because it was like a couple vlogging channel. And then for a while it was just Destiny Cook, which I think is her name. And now it is Lightly Toasted. That's the name of the channel. I don't know what that means. I don't know why she picked that or changed it to that, but that's what it is. And so I'll leave a link to her channel if you want to go watch her entire video on your own time. So I've already covered some of this tea from Destiny. She's been talking about some things on Instagram stories, and also in a previous video she did one that covered the entire year of 2015 where she was together with Amberlynn. The things that happened in that were mostly like, I feel like more incriminating to Destiny than they were Amberlynn. Like she full on talked about how she was like essentially emotionally cheating on Amberlynn by reaching out to her ex-girlfriend at the time. And she also talked about the other, I think, interesting thing or thing that people enjoyed from that video was her talking about Amberlynn Reed scooting off on her little scooter in the Walmart after Amberlynn got mad at Destiny for calling her Pookie, which was her ex-girlfriend's name. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And then Destiny was like, I'm gonna release videos based on the year. So like I already did 2015, I'm gonna do a whole video dedicated to 2016. Well, it turns out that she made 2 nearly hour-long videos, so 2 hours altogether, about the year 2016. There was a part 1 and a part 2, and I'm so glad I waited to cover part 1 because she posted part 2 last night, and now I can do all of 2016 in one video. You can get all the tea, all the scoop, all the drama right here. And I have to tell you, honestly, truly, so much of Destiny's videos are uninteresting, at least to me personally. They're so long. I watched them on 2 times speed, and it still felt like it took an eternity to get through because she's a little bit of a slow talker, which is fine. And she also includes a lot of details that basically are just like confirming like, yeah, that happened, which were all things that you could have seen on Amberlynn Reed's channel anyways. So I'll mostly just be covering the stuff in this video that I personally thought was either interesting that I didn't know before, or that are like inconsistencies with like things we've heard Amberlynn say or things like that, if that makes sense or is helpful to understand what I'm going to be covering. And the whole time she's talking throughout both of these videos, she alludes to like something that makes it sound like she's watching something and responding specifically to those things. At first I kind of thought maybe she was responding to like some kind of compilation or some channel that like documented little bits and pieces of what happened during 2016. And that may be the case. I don't know if a video like that exists, but that's just kind of what it felt like, is that she was responding to specific things that happened from it. But it also does sound like maybe she went through and watched all the videos that happened in 2016. That feels like a lot of videos to cover in a short amount of time, but maybe that is something that she did. I don't know. And I guess one last thing before we jump into the actual like tea that Destiny shared is that I honestly don't think Destiny's all that great of a person either, and I hope you listen to everything I'm about to say here because, you know, right now I feel like people think that I'm just out here to defend Amberlynn, and I don't think that I trust or believe Amberlynn about anything regarding any of the things that Destiny's gonna share. But I do feel like it should be noted that like Destiny shares a lot of things in here that I think are sussy. On her end, that don't paint herself in a good light. And this is no way an endorsement of either Destiny or Amberlynn Reid, okay? Just so we're on the same page about that. But I guess I'm saying that because, like, you know, I think we should be critical of both parties in this situation and the things they're bringing to the table. I think there are a lot of fair points to be made about, like, why is Destiny coming back after all this time to finally say something? I also, though, think that it's fair for Destiny to share her thoughts, feelings, opinions about the things that were shared about herself on the internet back when she was dating Amberlynn Reid. And I will say Amberlynn has a lot of thoughts about this that she just shared on Instagram literally in the middle of the night while I was sleeping. So I'll cover those things at the end of the video after we talk about what Destiny had to say. So I don't want to risk my video being just as fucking long as Destiny's videos, which I feel like it's already on the way. So let's just get to with the things that Destiny had to say. One of the things that I want to highlight is that it's clear that Destiny is like an emotional cheater. It's clear that she likes to start relationships and have relationships with other people, even if it's just like a text relationship or something like that before she breaks up with other people. And so I mentioned the story about Destiny reaching out to her old girlfriend or whatever while she was still with Amberlynn. And she starts off the first part of this clarifying that part of the 2015 story, saying that she actually hadn't told Amberlynn and that the only reason Amberlynn found out was because of Dana breaking up with Destiny and going and telling Amberlynn about it.
She did not know that till me and Dana broke up. And that's because I had told Dana about it. When we broke up, I don't know why, but she told Amberlynn. I had every intention of telling Amberlynn at some point. It was just like unnecessary drama after we broke up, clearly. She called me when I got in my car and she just said it. She was like, "You were talking to such and such the whole time that we were together." I was like, "No, it wasn't the whole time we were together." And I said, "Obviously Dana told you that because she's the only person that knew." So clearly, you know, that was that. And she denied it. She tried to say that Dana didn't tell her. I was like, well, I've only ever told Dana. And she just kind of tried to skip over it, try to figure out what I was doing. And I just kind of tried to end the conversation.
So yeah, Dana's messy, Destiny's messy, Amberlynn's messy. They're all fucking messy, okay? The girls are messy. And I don't think any of them look that great in any of that setting, situation type of deal. Also though, people keep telling me like, hey, did you see Dana's pregnant? I did. Congratulations to her. It sounds like something she really has been hoping for, wanting in her life. I don't have anything more to say about it outside of that. I also thought it was interesting that Destiny brought up the Walmart trips a lot and going out to eat a lot. And Destiny claims that Amberlynn was some kind of budgeting queen even back then.
Amberlynn did manage our money very well. I really don't understand how we were able to do everything that we would do, like going out to eat so much, going to Walmart so much.
So it's good to know Miss Amberlynn Reid has always been good with her goddess bucks, and she has always known how to spend them appropriately. A lot of the things that Destiny shared were just confirmations of things that I'm like, I get it. Like, she talks about how Amberlynn has a bad attitude.
Amberlynn did have a very bad attitude, just in general. Just with anything, like if she wasn't kind of getting her way, if it just wasn't going the way she wanted to do it. Like, this was as long as I've known her, not just when we were together. And even after. And
I'm like, yeah, I've talked to her in DMs, and almost none of the times that I've talked to her in the DMs have I got the vibes that like she had a great attitude. And I think you can even see that in some of her like live streams where, you know, she's a little bit unable to edit what comes out. And you can even see that from the fucking Cakegate situation. Not that I want to bring that shit up again, but you can tell that, you know, homegirl has a bad attitude. Yeah, you're not telling us anything we didn't know there, Destiny. One of the things that really irritated me, actually, particularly I think just in part one of her 2016 videos, is that Destiny really goes over all the ways that, like, she was a horrible pet parent, if we're being really fucking honest.
I kept him inside and he got out that night. It scared me because I was like, he's never been outside. He doesn't know what to do. Well, he was gone for like an hour and then he just scratched at the door and wanted in, and he just kind of became an indoor-outdoor cat and was doing really good for a little while. And then I don't know how it happened, but Becky's mom ended up with him at some point. She wanted me to have him back because I think he kept going to the bathroom on her welcome mat or something. I don't know. I think she wanted him for like a barn cat or something. I don't remember what it was. But I got him back, and then when we moved to Florida, when me and Dana moved here, we had no one to keep our animals, obviously, and we couldn't bring them with us. It was really sad. But my mom took Jackson, and he was an indoor-outdoor cat there. And my mom just lives in the middle of the woods, basically, and he went outside one day, and then he just never came back. So we really don't know what happened to him. He could be at somebody's house. He could have got ran over. I really don't know. I was really sad about it, obviously, when my mom told me, but there wasn't a lot we could do about that.
And to be fair, Amberlynn was also a part of that. Like, they're both clearly not great pet parents. But it just doesn't make any sense to me why there are so many people in Destiny's family and or just life in general who, like, have so many pets that they don't know what to do with them. Like, that's how she explains that they got Twinkie to begin with.
Twinkie was overweight when we got her. My godmom had a bunch of dogs, and they just all ate out of the same bowl, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like that explains her, like, constantly passing Jax off to the next person to take care of Jax. Like, just leaving pets behind because they move somewhere where they can't have pets. I'm just like, did y'all not realize that these were, like, lifelong commitments whenever you got these pets? That, like, you were committing to taking care of this pet until the end of its life? Like, I don't know. Like, Destiny's relationship with animals has always been something that's really irritated the shit out of me. But Destiny's a great partner when it comes to making sure that Amberlynn is comfortable, because that's the whole reason that she rode scooters along with Amberlynn at the Walmart.
And then about me riding the carts in Walmart, I rode them when I was with her because she was embarrassed riding them by herself. So she would make me ride one too to make her feel better.
But maybe she's not too great of a partner in hindsight, because Destiny's out here spilling information about Amberlynn, like, oh, you know those dirty bras that Amberlynn was always wearing? Well, she only actually owned 2 of them ever.
And then the bra scandal. I don't think she even has these bras anymore. But the bras that you guys would always give her crap for wearing, she only had 2 of them. I don't remember how many she said she had, but she had 2 of the same exact bra because it was the only one that she liked and it fit her, whatever it was. She had them for a long time.
So yeah, she really was just cycling between the 2 same dirty bras for a long time on the YouTubies. And we find out more about Destiny's great pet parenting by learning about a frog she took in that she really had no business caring for.
With that frog, keeping it, we argued about that for me keeping it, which was kind of on my end of my fault. I shouldn't have tried to keep a tree frog from outside. Like, I didn't really, like I was just saying with the Pac-Man frog. It's a lot of work, you know, it's this, that, and the other. So, you know, we argued about it a lot, though, and then she finally just let me do it, and then we ended up letting him go, so.
You know, after the last Destiny T video, I did think it was interesting. Somebody pointed out that, like, it's kind of crazy that Amberlynn was the only girlfriend that we know of Destiny's that Destiny didn't propose marriage to. And Destiny takes some time to explain why Amberlynn was that girl.
I never proposed to her because we literally fought so much. And I wasn't sure if we would ever truly be happy together. Like, because there was just so much fighting and tension, obviously off camera. We'd have good times, but the bad times were starting to outweigh the good times.
And I do just think it's interesting because Amberlynn, of course, always portrayed their relationship as being amazing, wonderful, never before seen or done. And it seems like we always find out, or at least in the case of Destiny and Becky both, that, like, the relationship she had with both of those individuals actually wasn't great like Amberlynn wanted us to believe it was on the internet. And to be fair to Amberlynn, like obviously I think all relationships, even the best relationships, probably have some kind of challenges or like disagreements or arguments occasionally. And yeah, you're probably not going to want to broadcast those to the world. Like you're probably only going to show the good stuff that happens. But I just do think it's interesting that like nothing is ever the sunshine and rainbows that Amberlynn likes to, I don't know, portray. And I feel like right now especially Amberlynn has been portraying a lot of sunshine and rainbows on her channel, which honestly I've encouraged her to do. I think it's like best to focus on the positive. I'm just saying, I feel like there's always more to the story, you know? And also in regards to the part about Amberlynn being the only one that was never proposed to, I will say that in part 2 of the 2016 videos, she does say that she did get Amberlynn a promise ring at one point because Amberlynn was talking a lot about weddings and she just wanted to try to make Amberlynn happy. I will say it was also nice to get confirmation from one of Amberlynn's girlfriends that the chili was gross. And I mostly just say that because I feel like she's had both Becky and Wifey talk about how great her chili is and how great her cooking is. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Amberlynn made them say that on camera, because we do find out in part 2 of the tell-all that Amberlynn had Destiny lie about whether or not Amberlynn ate a 20-piece chicken McNugget.
The 20-piece McNugget thing? She came back in a video and said that she had not eaten, or I came back and said she didn't eat a 20-piece nugget. She had me say that. She did eat a 20-piece nugget.
We also find out from Destiny more about Amberlynn's hygiene habits, and we find out that Amberlynn didn't take an actual shower the entire time that Destiny and Amberlynn lived together with Destiny's mom.
My mom had it wasn't a clawfoot bathtub, but it wasn't like a normal bathtub. I don't know how else to explain it. You see it in the videos a lot. Amberlynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's. She did not like the bathtub. She refused to even try to get it in. I think she was having a hard time getting her leg over it. It was the thing because it is pretty high sides. And she just basically, whore bathed. She just, she washed her hair. I'd help her wash her hair over the shower. And she just kind of washed with washcloths and wore plenty of deodorant. That's what she did.
And honestly, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't impact me if Amberlynn showers or not, so I don't really care if she does or doesn't. But it is a hot topic for a lot of people. A lot of people seem very concerned about her hygiene habits. And we know even from Amberlynn personally that Amberlynn has said that there have been times in her life where her mentals were not good and she didn't take showers. Although I don't know that we knew about it in the context of Destiny's mom's house. I don't know that that was ever information we knew prior to this. But there you go. There you have it. There was a period of time, surprise, surprise, that Amberlynn didn't take showers. One other thing that I thought Destiny said that was interesting was that Amberlynn frequently wanted to go to the hospital for just about anything.
I said Amberlynn wants to go to the hospital over any and every little thing. I don't know. It could just be anything. And she'd be like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And she was kind of becoming a hypochondriac, and I had to just be like, stop.
And I think it's only interesting to me in the context of where we're at right now with Amberlynn, which is that she, goes to the doctor all the time, or has a lot in the past 6 months, and has gotten several different diagnoses from different people in the past 6 months. And so I think that bit of information in the context of what we know about her life currently is interesting, fascinating, maybe worth noting. So one thing that is important to note, and Destiny kind of sprinkles it throughout both videos, so I'm going to talk about it chronologically within the videos, but it's at the end of this first part that Destiny starts talking about how Amberlynn would get into like little spats with Destiny's mom. And apparently Amberlynn had no respect for Destiny's mom.
This is also around the time my mom and Amberlynn start getting into a lot of spats about stuff. Amberlynn's she's very set in her way or no way kind of deal. And she doesn't care, like, if she disrespects you, basically. Like, she really just does not care. to have respect. Like, we were at my mom's house living with her. I don't know, if it had been the other way around, I was not going to try to argue with her mom, you know, like, it was like a respecting your elders kind of thing. Even though you're not a child, you should still respect your elders.
And personally, for me, the way that Destiny talked about their relationship checked out, at least for the ways that I've interacted with Amberlynn in the past. Whenever Amberlynn's been upset with me, it's very much felt like, you know, she's more concerned about just like being right and getting you to do the thing that she wants you to do, as opposed to like having a conversation about like what the problem is and, you know, coming to some kind of like compromise or solution. And also apparently one of the things that Destiny's mom would get upset with Amberlynn about was Amberlynn doing mukbangs.
When she started doing the mukbangs, when my mom was around, my mom really just didn't understand it, and I think they got into spats about it sometimes. So I think that's why she ended up only doing it basically when she was home alone, or if it was just me and her or whatever.
Which we can talk about a little bit more. I don't know exactly why Destiny's mom specifically cared so much about Amberlynn's weight, or why that was her problem to be concerned about. I do think that's a little weird, but I'm sure, you know, like, Amberlynn is living in this space with you, and this is something that Amberlynn claims that she cares about. It's probably frustrating to sit there and watch her do things that are directly in conflict with things that Amberlynn claims to care about. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know necessarily why it's Destiny's mom's business, but also I kind of could see a world where Destiny's mom would be irritated with Amberlynn. And I guess also, like, while we're talking about Destiny's mom right here, something important to note is, like, even as recently as like a week or two ago, I didn't save this screenshot because it didn't feel important at the time, but maybe it's somewhere, somebody has it. I have to say that literally just recently, Amberlynn said in an Instagram Q&A that she had great relationships and cared a lot about both Destiny's mom and Becky's mom. Just to put that out there. And this video really ended, or like the last thing that I cared about in the first part of the 2016 drama was with Destiny revealing that, surprise, her and Amberlynn weren't great pet parents and didn't take any of their pets to the vet while they were dating.
She says at some point that we were gonna take the cats to the vet, and that we had taken Wasabi to the vet. I never took these cats to the vet. Wasabi came with his shots, and with Jax, I think once he was with me and Dana, I went to the feed store and got his shots and just did them myself, because you could do that. You can still do that, I'm pretty sure. You can get your shots at Tractor Supply if you need to. We did end up taking them to the vet. It was after me and her broke up, because I remember me and Dana were together when we did it. So the whole time we were together, we did not go to the vet.
And I honestly just feel like, why do y'all have so many goddamn pets if you can't, like, take care of them? I don't know if it was like a money thing that they couldn't afford to take the pets to the vet or what it was, but like, if you can't reasonably get your pets healthcare, then you don't need to have your pets. Like, that is just what it is. Poe is also frustrated for his pet friends, but you know what I'm saying? Poe. Sure, maybe the vet visits you're missing out on are just like regular checkups for the vet to tell you that your pets are okay, but if you can't afford those, what makes you think that you can afford something if like an emergency comes up for your pet or things like that? Like, it just really baffles my mind. And also, I think we did all know this, just to be clear, like, at the time when this was happening, it was clear that Amberlynn didn't take her pets to the vet for a very long time. There was a whole drama with Rarity after Destiny and Amberlynn broke up, where people are like, why hasn't Rarity been fixed? Like, why haven't you taken care of that yet? It was a whole thing, so I don't think any of this is new. I think the part that was alarming to me is that Destiny said it so nonchalantly, like it was not an issue for her at all that she hadn't taken the pets to the vet during that time. You know what I'm saying? So that was part one. I managed to cover all of that without me editing in the clips or anything like that in 22 minutes. So part two, Destiny claims is going to be very, very juicy. But I do have to say, I got almost halfway through the viewing of part two, and honestly, all the juicy stuff happens in like the second half of the video. The first half, I wrote down like 2 things that I had notes about that I was gonna talk about. All the juicy stuff is definitely on the back end of this video, because I was like, girl, I thought you said this was gonna be juicy. What are we doing here? I'm so bored. Like, you're talking about shit I don't care about, which is fine. Like, I appreciate that she's sharing her story. She talked a lot about things related to her health and cramping and her period and stuff like that. And she also talked a lot about her own challenges with weight and things like that as well. I just don't have anything to say about those things, you know? Like, I'm here specifically for the things that she has to say about Amberlynn. So one of the things that I did note in that first half is that Destiny talked about a lot of the things that Amberlynn filmed that she didn't realize were being filmed. So she talked about, you know, like Amberlynn filming her while she was in the shower, Amberlynn filming her butt crack.
I also noticed that she tried to film me in the shower a lot. Not like really showing too much of me, but still kind of showing me. And I also noticed that she showed my butt crack a lot. I don't know why it is, but I have a long butt crack. I try to keep it maintained, but sometimes it's out. And I try my best to keep it covered up, but you know, it happens. But she didn't have no reason to be posting my butt crack on YouTube.
And it's weird to me that Amberlynn recorded those things with Destiny seemingly like not knowing that it was happening nor that it was getting posted to the internet. And this is the part where I'm like, yeah, if Amberlynn's out here recording those things, monetizing those things, then I don't see why it's an issue for Destiny to get up here and like tell parts of her story that she wants to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why she shouldn't be allowed to do that if you're like filming her in the bathroom, filming her butt crack, things like that. Destiny also shares that she and her mom really feel like Amberlynn has problems with like letting go of her past and blaming things on her past.
And then I feel like that's a lot of her problems. You know, like my mom tells her this at one point. She's like, you focus too much on the past. You blame the past for everything that's happening to you now. And you're not moving on from it. And I feel like that's still a big part of what's going on with her now. Like, she's still focused on what all has happened in the past, and she's not moving forward.
And I both agree and disagree to some extent with that. Mostly because it's clear that Amberlynn did have a lot of things that happened to her in her past. So, like, I think it's fair for her to blame some things in her life on the things that happened with that. But I think where Destiny, her mom, and also myself would try to get with Amberlynn when it comes to talking about her past is that she's not really, up until maybe recently right now with the therapist she's going to right now, but up until then, she's never really taken accountability for, like, her actions presently, regardless of how those things impacted her, and she's not really tried to work through those things that happened to her in her past and move forward, and I think that's really the issue with it, is, like, you can have a bad past, a bad experience, and that can even impact the way you move about in your life today, but to some extent, you're still responsible for your actions and, you know, getting therapy, seeking therapy, and trying to, you know, overcome the things that happened to you in your past. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And we do find out that the spats are definitely still happening between Destiny's mom and Amberlynn. And in particular, there was one really bad spat that happened that got physical regarding Amberlynn not wanting to take this new job that her and Destiny got and instead wanting to focus on YouTube.
I think it was like the second week, honestly. We were sitting at the kitchen table, getting ready to leave for work, like packing my lunch, whatever, just sitting on the kitchen table talking. And I think I asked Amberlynn how she likes the job so far and how, you know, easy it is and all that. And she starts saying that she likes it, that it is easy, but she wanted to focus more on YouTube. And she was like, if by the time training's over, I decide I don't want to do it, I just won't start the actual job. And I don't know what came over my mom after this, but my mom came in there and started just saying, you know, like, she said something along the lines of, you don't need to stay at home all day and YouTube, it's not going to be good for you trying to lose weight. And I guess Amberlynn got offended about, you know, weight loss and all that. It's a never-ending thing with her.
Again, I do think it's kind of weird that Destiny's mom cares so much about Amberlynn's weight. Like, I don't know why that's her problem necessarily, outside of, like, I guess she's housing and maybe feeding Amberlynn, so maybe that is her responsibility. But yeah, Destiny's mom got physical with Amberlynn over this whole situation.
I don't know. Her and my mom started arguing back and forth, and my mom ended up getting physical with Amberlynn. That's where the K-cup holder comes back. I think they're kind of slapping around at each other, and my mom, that K-cup holder was sitting on the stairs for us to take upstairs or whatever. My mom came back with it and hit her over the head with it. It was very traumatizing for me, honestly. It was. I was freaking out.
And, like, I'm sure Amberlynn is real fucking annoying to live with. Like, I could just imagine, based on just what she's shown us about her own life, that she's not necessarily a joy to live with sometimes. But I also gotta say, Destiny's mom, at this point, is old enough to have a 21-year-old daughter, you know? Like, she has a full-ass grown adult daughter, so she herself is a full-ass grown adult. Like, I don't know why it's reasonable to be throwing objects or hitting Amberlynn with objects like that, like a K-cup holder. Like, why are we doing all of that? That just seems like messy and unhinged and also inappropriate. I could see why Amberlynn moving forward would be very uncomfortable with Destiny's mom. But of course that led to Destiny and Amberlynn getting their own apartment, and also to some more drama a little bit later regarding Destiny and Destiny's mom. We also find out that Amberlynn gifted a TV to Destiny that is apparently on film. Amberlynn is saying, like, this is for you, I got this for you. And Amberlynn was apparently petty and wouldn't let Destiny take it after they broke up.
Then we get the big TV for the living room, the 55-inch, nice big TV. Amberlynn says, literally in this video, that she gets it for me. And when we broke up, I wanted to, and when we were moving out of the lease went up in the apartment, and I was moving in with Dana, and she was going to live with Becky, I wanted that TV because she said it was for me. And she tried to say that it was her TV and that she was keeping it. I was not going to get it. And, you know, I wasn't trying to make a big thing out of it. I didn't really care, but it was the fact that she said it was for me and then turned around and said it wasn't.
Which, I don't know, also unsurprising to me. also checks out for me that would be something that Amberlynn would do. Although I guess she did get that car and she gave it to Becky. But I guess unlike the car for Becky, Amberlynn can't drive, so that car doesn't have any use to Amberlynn. But she can sit and watch TV. So I guess maybe that's the difference. Which, speaking of cars, Destiny does blame Amberlynn for the shocks going out on the passenger side of her car.
When my stepdad looked over my car, you know, he said one of the shock on the side that she sat on was so worn down and I needed a new one, and the one on my side was fine. So he said clearly it's the weight shifting in the car and I had to get new tires.
Destiny starts to talk about how her friendship with Dana began because Dana worked with them at this little, like, data entry job that they had together. Amberlynn got mad at some kind of interaction Destiny had with Dana, and Destiny's like, well, we were totally just friends then.
It's a bunch of people, but Dana is one of those people because that's when we became friends, was around this time, like just friends. Nothing more. And I think it was something where you wear headphones and you say something and you try to get the person to say what you're saying. Something like that. I don't remember. It was something about, I think lips are red. I don't remember what it was exactly. But I say that to Dana and Amberlynn gets offended. She goes off right there in front of everybody. Does not care. And it was really embarrassing. And I was like, why are you doing this right now? You know, like, I was not trying. Why would I try to be that way in front of you? Why would I try to be that way at all?
And I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily believe that serial cheater Destiny didn't have some kind of romantic relationship with Dana prior to breaking up with Amberlynn. I just, like, don't believe it. I really, truly don't. She can say whatever she wants about it. I just, like, find it very hard to believe. Like, it might not have been that moment, but at some point I think she did. And also, even that moment, that story that she told about that situation of Amberlynn getting mad, just seems really sus because, like, These other stories she's told, she's able to provide a lot of information about those things. She does occasionally say, like, I don't remember this, that, the other. But this story, there just seemed to be too much that she's like, I don't quite remember what happened. That to me, just my personal opinion, I don't know that I believe that there wasn't more to whatever happened with that story. And then the last major, like, fight disagreement that she talks about having with Amberlynn involves Amberlynn getting upset that Destiny was gonna go visit her mom for dinner.
I was like, okay, well, it's been a little while since I've been over there. Just, I'm gonna go over there. And she was just like throwing a big, just fit. I don't know how else to describe it. She was crying, and I know it was a Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand. She will swear to you that this didn't happen. I've talked to her about it before, and she swears it didn't happen. So I don't know why she thinks that, but why would I make this up? I would try to walk out of the house, and I know I had this Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go. So, and because we were already arguing, I was like, I don't want to be around you anyway right now. Like, we were arguing. I wanted to go see my mom. She starts screaming at me from the sliding glass doorway, saying that she's gonna harm herself, if I leave, and I don't know, just all this stuff, just going nuts. And then I was like, no, you won't. I said, that's not something to play around with. Just let me go see my mom. And she starts like coming at me, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get in my car and I leave the can on my top of my car, and I close the door real quick and I lock the door, and she's like telling me to get out, all this stuff, and she ends up throwing the can at my car. Made me mad. And I want to say I ended up not going. I don't think I did. I'm like 98% sure I did not go to my mom's.
It felt very manipulative from the way that Destiny told it. It also feels like something that Amberlynn would do, so I'm inclined to believe Destiny in this situation. And we also find out that it's shortly after this argument that Amberlynn lets Destiny open up all of her Christmas gifts.
But right after that, we also got into an argument, and that's when she let me open a present, and it turned into opening all those presents.
Which is actually interesting to me because people have always speculated that the reason that Amberlynn gave Destiny all of those gifts was that she was trying to, like, win Destiny's love. It was shortly after this, like in 2017, that they ended up breaking up. And it's clear, like, at least based on how Destiny tells the story, that, yeah, Amberlynn immediately let her open up all of those things because they just had this horrible fight and she was trying to win Destiny's love back. And that's pretty much all the things that I kind of felt like were important from that whole situation type of deal. Like I said, she shared a lot of things that I just felt like were not relevant and or like just confirmations of things we already knew. So it's like, well, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, she'd literally be like, yeah, there was a video where we did this and that happened. And it's like, yeah, we saw that. We knew that. Like, I don't know why you felt the need to tell us. But like I said, Amberlynn was up and at 'em this morning, early in the morning at some point. She says that her sleep schedule is back on track, but I don't know what that means for her because she always seems to be on the Instagram stories while I'm fast asleep in my bed, enjoying my beauty rest. Okay, so let me share all of these things with you and share my thoughts as I'm reading through them. So it starts with somebody innocently asking, are you watching Destiny? And has she lied at all in the tea videos? Amberlynn said, yes, she has lied. Also, just as a note, Amberlynn claimed that she wasn't gonna watch Destiny. There's been many things where I've shared, I think in my last video of Instagram Q&A updates, where she said she wasn't gonna give Destiny the time. She would never spill any tea about Destiny because she is not that kind of girl. Just keep that in mind as we continue reading through these. Another person said, what did Destiny lie about in particular? And she said, there's no way I'm getting into it on Instagram. As much as it hurts, I internally struggled with accepting that she's even doing this. But I accepted it if she was only going to tell the truth, and I was gonna leave it be. But her new video tonight shows that her memory is either fucked or she's flat out lying and knows it. I'm honestly disgusted. Another person said, Amber, did you really hot Destiny's mom? I'm in shock, TBH. I think the person meant to say hit, which, like, in that clip, Destiny did say that they had, like, a slap fight or something like that. And Amberlynn said, no, I did not. I'm fucking shocked she would say that after all the time her and I talked about that incident, even while just friends. It literally makes me sick to my stomach that she'd lie about that, and knowing people will believe anything that gaslighting cheater says. Which is also interesting because I feel like Amberlynn always maintained that Destiny didn't cheat on her, but whatever. At this point, I'm pissed because she's not telling her side. She's literally just lying, and that's not fucking right. Another person said, sorry, Amber, I shouldn't have doubted you. The video was awful. And Amberlynn's response was, this whole thing just fucking hurts. When she no longer needed me and my money, this is what she does. She is the very reason I'll forever have trust issues. And another person said, Destiny said you have no respect for anyone. And Amberlynn said, at this point, I might have to make my own video. Even though she said she wasn't going to touch this, she didn't care, she would never spill tea. Or should I make 47 parts and milk it for all it's worth like my ex is? Another person said, I believe you 100%. Don't silence yourself anymore. You don't deserve this at all. And she said, I just didn't want to do this. I don't want this BS on my channel. I'm trying so hard to improve my life, but for an ex who used to call me moneybags and get pissed when I couldn't give her money, to be flat out lying about me makes me want to fucking rage. No joke, her sharing things like the shower stuff is her just trying to hurt me, because how the fuck is that her story? It's not. It's mine. Just proves her intentions are in a bad place. She's gross and needs to stop being so obsessed with me. Which is interesting because I think we all know Amberlynn has also been obsessed with Destiny for a long time, to the point that she even talked about Destiny frequently while in a relationship with Becky, but I guess that's neither here nor there for Amberlynn. I do think the money thing is interesting. Amberlynn saying that, like, Destiny used her for money when, like, Amberlynn up until this point has always talked about how she just, like, gave money to her friends because she cared about Destiny and Dana, and now she's acting like Destiny was using her for money. Doesn't really add up for me, because even Destiny was, like, very appreciative in the first, like, video that she made about Amberlynn. She said that she was very appreciative for the times that Amberlynn helped her out and things like that, and that Amberlynn did it on her own accord most of the time, and that there was only one time that Destiny herself actually asked Amberlynn for money, and that Amberlynn was happy to help. So I think that's all interesting. I think some of the critiques of, like, also Destiny doing this for money, probably check out. I think that lots of people do YouTube because they want people to watch their videos. And in particular, a lot of people do YouTube because they want to watch their videos and make money off of it. So, yeah, I think that probably checks out. I think that's also probably why Amberlynn does YouTube, you know? Another person said, so don't give in and play into it. Destiny wants you to rage and come back at her for views and money. And Amberlynn said, but her flat out lying isn't cool. The thing she's honest about is from almost a decade ago when I was in my early 20s, and people can't seem to figure out how to separate that Amberlynn with this Amberlynn. Destiny's obsessed with me, even admitting to watching reaction channels about me every day. It's fucking creepy, and all of this came out of nowhere. I was accepting it for what it was till the lies began. I do think some people, don't give Amberlynn the credit or benefit of the doubt of changing from then. I don't think she's changed a lot, if we're being honest. Like, I think there's still a lot of her that very much checks out with the things that Destiny shared about her, but I do think there's probably some things that have changed since then, and that people don't always put those things into context. But let's not get too crazy. Not too much of this stuff has changed. And somebody said, I mean this in a nice way, but please try to let go of what people think of you. You know your truth. And she said, you're right, I do. I'm done talking about Destiny for tonight. Spoiler alert, she was not done talking about Destiny for the night. This whole situation honestly just hurts a lot. And then, like I said, somebody else said, it's odd she'd rather talk about you than her current fiance. It's obsessive and money hungry. And Amberlynn responded, she finally saw me happy. Which I don't think that's why, but I think she is probably a little hungry for some money. And I do think it's interesting. Destiny allegedly recorded a video with her fiance like a week or two ago and has yet to post that, but has been happy to post the tea about Amberlynn. So I think I will say that Destiny had promised a Q&A with her current fiance, and I've yet to see that get posted to the internet. And then Amberlynn, who's definitely done talking about Destiny for the night, responded to somebody who said, "People who love and support you will believe you, and you deserve to share your story with them. Don't be silenced." And she said, "I'm just really hurt and confused right now. I've made a lot of progress in who I am as a person, and having this cheating liar trigger memories for me is causing massive anxiety on my end. So I think I'm gonna call it a night and get some sleep." Which, like, also, you didn't have to watch any of the stuff that Destiny posted, and in fact, you had said you weren't gonna interact with it. So I don't understand, like, why you did. But of course, even though she said she was gonna call it a night and get some sleep, she still kept posting about Destiny. Because somebody said, "What do you think of the thumbnails Destiny is making of you on her videos?" And she said, "It says everything it needs to say. Good night, everyone." So then she finally did, or at least I think, let me go check and make sure she didn't post any more since I took those screenshots. But it's looking like, yeah, she did actually quit after that. So there you go. There you go. There's Miss Amberlynn. Like I said, I think they're both, like, not great for several reasons. I do think if Destiny wants to post these things on her YouTube channel, she's more than welcome to. And, you know, I think it's okay to be critical of the things that she's saying. I know we're probably inclined to just believe everything that Destiny is saying. And the reality is it's probably somewhere in between. I think there probably are some things that Destiny knows. Like, Destiny's not stupid. I feel like sometimes the internet would like to make her out to be. But I think she's smart enough to realize, like, what kinds of things people want to hear. And so I would imagine on some of these things, the truth is somewhere in the middle. But also there's a lot of things that I'm like, I don't know why, like, Destiny would share these things, because they're also incriminating to her. Like, the stuff about not taking their pets to the vet, like that just makes Destiny look just as bad as Amberlynn, in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you think about it down below in the comments, but that's all I had time for today. Did you see how I was able to get this video done in less than 2 hours? Like, I don't know why Destiny didn't take 2 hours outside of, like, milking it for some money and some AdSense views. But we managed to do it. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. Make sure to also leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!